Hello, this is Alan again, continuing my series of videos on the ECL or Enterprise Control Language built-in functions, this time dedupe or deduplicate. I was in two minds about doing a video on dedupe, as I think the reference manual, ECL reference manual, is quite good in this area. You really just have to read it up and away you go. But I think there's enough funnies in it for it to warrant a video of its own. So anyway, what does dedupe do? So reading up here, the dedupe function evaluates a record set for duplicate records as defined by the condition parameter and returns a unique return set. Bad English there, but anyway. The condition is the second parameter to dedupe, and it's a comma delimited list of fields that you want to set, that dictate what is defined as a unique condition for the resultant data set. So looking at the code here, now the first thing to say is dedupe is fast because it's only ever really working on adjacent records, but it does mean that you really have to only work on data sets that have been distributed and then sorted. One of the funnies I was talking about is the fact dedupe doesn't actually complain if you run it against an unsorted set, where you just end up with unexpected records in your output set. So in this example here, I'm distributing by value 1, field 1, then sorted by that value as well as value 2, and then I can dedupe on value 1 again locally. Don't do anything other than that really. There is a concept of all in here, which is matches the condition against all records, not just adjacent records. And in fact it describes it in some detail in the ECL reference manual, but I haven't seen it used. You may be able to do some interesting things with it, but given you're comparing every record against every other record and they're not adjacent, I'm a bit concerned about the performance of all, so I've never seen it used myself in production code. So it's something to be wary of if you're reading up all. Anyway, ignoring all, there's the concept of left and right in the dedupe, and the left is saying that given a set of duplicate records, so in this case we'll have duplicate KC records or KA records or KB records, which one to select. So the left is saying select the minimum of those duplicate records, and right is saying select the maximum of those records. And if you've noticed, I've actually sorted by value 2 as well, so I know what the minimum record is for given the duplicate value 1s, and I know that in this example the minimum record is going to be B, and if for the left hand side, and for the right hand side it's going to be X. There is actually a best value, but really it does much the same work as left and right, and I don't really see that used in production code. So I'm going to ignore it in this case, but you can see here if you use best, dedupe with best, you'll end up with exactly the same records as using left or right. So descending best is the same as the dedupe with the right hand side here. What else to mention about this? I think we'll move on to, I think there's also this concept of accept, which you see that's in other built-ins, and that's really just saying deduplicate on all fields except for this field. So in this example you'll see here that line 14 and 15 will generate unique identical results, multi-field dedupe here, and then but if you dedupe on the ID, every field except the ID field, you're going to say end up with the same results. There's also the fact that you can keep more than one duplicate record. So here we're going to keep 2 records, each for case A, KB and KC, which you can see in results, keeping 2 of each here. But if you try that on the right hand side, then it doesn't actually complain. The compiler allows that, but that will actually crash with a runtime error there. So that's another of those funnies that I wanted to mention. I think that's about it for dedupe. See you in the next video. Cheers, bye.